Welcome to Talk Around Riyadh, the Wheel of Time showcast. I am your host, Joe Perry. Back with me, my co-host, long missed and forlorn. No, you weren't forlorn. Jen Isgro and Tom Kokoza, and special guest co-host Brendan Johnston. So you know what that means. No, it's a rewatch. We're doing a rewatch, Jen.
Oh, I thought it was the time to make air horn sounds with our mouths.
The most Brendan Johnston sound effect ever. A bunch of air horns, a bunch of exuberant noises.
Yeah. Jen, we missed you.
Oh, thank you for missing me. I missed you guys too.
We had to deal with the likes of Omar and Matt. See what you did to us?
You had two really good guests while I was gone. So
we needed them. We needed to bring in some big guns to fill your shoes, Jen. And I still don't think
they almost did
it was as good as it could have been if you were there. So what have you been doing? What's up?
That. I was in Georgia 2 weeks ago on a family vacation. So that was fun. I got to watch baby turtles hatch and a lot of other good stuff like that. Sea turtles, yeah. We rode a horse. And we didn't all ride one horse. We each rode
right on a big horse.
Big horse is funny. And then
the big horse have a big hat.
Yes. And then last week I was in Roxbury at my parents' house for Mardi Gras, not to be confused with actual Mardi Gras in New Orleans, but another separate Mardi Gras, which I'm sure I've talked about on the show before. But it was fun.
Yeah.
And now I'm back.
The thing I like about your fake Mardi Gras the most is that it ends on Monday before Tuesday, which is, the Mardi part of Mardi Gras, right? It's Fat Tuesday.
Yeah.
That's my favorite part about it.
Means Fat Tuesday?
Yeah, Tuesday is It's French.
Right. It's the biggest because you're going to start fasting on Ash Wednesday. Let's get it all done on Mardi Gras.
Yeah, Fat Tuesday.
I mean, this has been going on for like 100 years or so. So I think they were just like, oh, it's a big party. We should call it Mardi Gras, like that other big party. And then they did, and nobody corrected them because there's nobody French there. So they just, it just happened.
There's no one from Louisiana there either.
No, there isn't.
Yeah. That probably would have changed the
American
course of history.
Irish people.
Tom, how you doing?
I'm doing well, Joe. I think you mentioned that Jen was forlorn. I think obviously clearly we were the ones forlorn at Jen's absence, but she has returned. Talent level has gone up, and we brought back my favorite guest host, my best friend Brendan. So I'm doing very well, and I'm excited to do to start what we're going to start tonight.
I do have to quickly point out that Tom's wife has also been a guest host on our show.
He said what he said.
Or a guest. Maybe it wasn't a guest host. She was a guest. So I guess that's different.
Definitely different. Even if I said guest host when they were on, I didn't mean it.
Okay.
They were just.
I said what I said.
I don't think you're going to correct yourself anyway. I just wanted to point at it.
They're just it doesn't. I mean, Michelle doesn't listen to this, so.
I know, so it doesn't matter.
And I think it's just basically saying it on this podcast is like Tom yelling it out into the ether.
I mean, she is literally like 30 feet away from me, and she's on a different floor, but still.
She's probably more likely to listen to some other podcast than this podcast.
Oh, 100%.
Another podcast about the Wheel of Time.
Yes. Yes.
She's actually listening to the Dusty Wheel right now.
She might think it's our podcast, and it could take a few episodes before she realizes. Because she's not listening because she has no idea what anyone's talking about.
Hasn't stopped me.
Brendan,
yes.
Welcome back.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for having me back.
Do you know it's been a year since the show released, season 2 released?
Has it really?
Yep.
It was last Mardi Gras.
It was last Mardi Gras.
Came out.
Oh, yes, of course. That's right. There was a whole do.
Yes.
It was
a whole kerfuffle, if you will.
Yeah. So it's been about a year. I don't remember exactly what date it came out. We probably have it somewhere around here, but it's just about a year since it came out. So this is perfect timing that we're doing a rewatch, because we could potentially be the halfway point between the second season and the third season. I don't think that's true, but it could be. So that's all I'm going to say about that.
Okay.
I think people have been missing this segment. Jen decided that when she comes back, since the people, she was taken away from them for 2 weeks, that she needed to come back and really make an impact. So I'm going to pass it over to Jen to tell us what's happening.
It's been 84 years, but it's time for what's happening. Let's start this week's segment with our favorite American warder. Sorry, Taylor. Daniel Henney. Daniel writes on Instagram. Amazing weekend at the Fear Free Launching Forum in Seoul. I'm incredibly proud to help introduce Fear Free to Asia for the first time, especially through my second home, South Korea. Thank you to Dr. Marty Becker and his team for making the trip. The Fear Free Veterinary Program teaches veterinary healthcare professionals, groomers, and trainers how to eliminate fear, anxiety, and stress for happier patients, more compliant clients, and safer veterinary healthcare teams. Very excited to see what the future holds for pet care in Asia. So Daniel has posted some pictures of himself looking handsome at a podium and posing with other attendees of the Fear Free Forum. Guys, you know what? I hate fear. So anything that's fear free is right up my alley.
Is that like on the package, like the wrapper, like sugar free, fear free? That was bad. Jen, fear free. So this is, first of all, Dr. Becker.
Yes.
Becker. Call out to that show. Anyway,
Becker,
he was a doctor, but he wasn't a veterinarian.
He was a doctor.
Okay.
Yeah,
this guy is Dr. Marty Becker and his what is the
this is how basically
program,
they
Fear Free.
This is how they basically like Crocodile Dundee animals. That's what he's teaching them to do, right?
I don't know, because I'm going to be quite honest, I've never seen a Crocodile Dundee movie.
Oh man.
I'm sorry.
You should only see one of them, but
The second one's pretty good.
It's not bad. It's not bad, but the first one's good. I think
Ace Ventura? Is it like Ace Ventura?
No.
Not as absurd.
Well, no, but I mean, like that he's like in tune with animals.
You've seen the Simpsons where they go to Australia.
Yes.
You've seen Knifey Spoony.
Yes, that's what I was going to say.
You've seen honestly. There's other things that I know you haven't seen that are better than Crocodile Dundee.
Well, that's probably true.
So,
That's probably
true.
I mean, Crocodile Dundee's not like a good film.
It's a pretty good film. It holds up.
It's a pretty good film. That's exactly how I would rank it.
It's definitely worth a watch. You should definitely see it at least once. Everyone needs to watch the movie once. I will say that.
Where are we right now?
We were talking about.
I think
Crocker and Riyadh. There we go.
Okay.
All right.
I think it's a vibe like what's the dog trainer? Cesar Milano. Right?
The dog whisperers.
Right.
Yeah,
So it's about like making sure that animals feel calm, feel safe, feel protected, and then they'll be easier to heal and treat. And I think it's just a matter, right? It's something that there's a philosophy of that here in the States, I guess, and he's trying to bring that to Asia. I think it's pretty cool, and he's very passionate about dogs and such. So,
are you talking about Daniel or Marty Becker?
Or Crocodile Dundee.
Okay. Anyway, it was founded in 2016. Dr. Marty Becker currently practices in Idaho, but he took the trip over to South Korea. We know Daniel's been very supportive of helping animals. This seems like a great program, so we hope it has continued success.
We went so far afield from the topic that when Tom started talking about it again, I had no idea what was going on. I was totally lost.
I'm going to go right now and go watch
episode.
Crocodile Dundee.
All right.
And I'll be back.
Everyone hold on. I'll be back in 90 minutes.
Let's move on. So Alvaro Morte, who I feel is very rarely featured on this segment, has found the way into my heart by doing a voiceover for an animated movie. So Alvaro writes, and this is translated from Spanish, "Here I am with my new colleagues, Roz and Brabon, to whom Macarena Garcia and I have had the pleasure of giving our voices for the Spanish version. Y'all don't know how much I'm excited for you to see her. I'm so glad to have been part of this project. You can find it in theaters starting October 11th. I'll leave it right there.
So I've seen a preview or something, commercials for this movie.
Yes.
Isn't it so cool that like they're getting like really good actors, like for these types of movies, they're getting really good actors to do like the other languages. They're not just hiring like some schmucks to do the voiceovers in the different languages.
It's good, except if you're like a voiceover artist and now they're just hiring celebrities to do voiceovers for everything.
Well, they're not probably, I mean,
voiceover.
there's probably not as many celebrities working on the movie. Maybe like
well,
one or two.
If you look at the American cast, there is. But anyway, so let me just keep going. The Spanish title is, I don't know how to say robot in Spanish. Robot? Is it just robot? How do you say robot with a Spanish accent?
R.
I don't.
Robot Salvaje. But the English title is The Wild Robot. It's based on a book, and the main cast features Lupita Nyong'o and Pedro Pascal.
They're doing the American version.
Yes. So Pedro plays a character named Kit, but the name is Bribon in the Spanish dub. So this is most likely going to be a hit movie. It's produced by DreamWorks, and it's going to be released in the U.S. on September 27th, and like he said, in Spain on October 11th.
Now I kind of want to watch the Spanish version with the subtitles and see if and then watch the American version and see which one's better.
I
That's
mean,
a challenge. Accepted.
Yeah, Pedro, so he's pretty good too. But yeah, it's good. I'm sure he did this 5 years ago or so, but right. Oh, maybe not. Maybe not when did they do the dub? Does the dub is copying the original voiceover actor, I would think. So it's probably not done before the animation.
I don't know if it's copying the original.
No, but like you're.
She means the mouths have to move at similar times.
Right. So like you do the voiceover. Right. You can't have two completely different.
Have you guys never watched a dubbed animated film before?
Yeah, it's just
matches.
Yeah, it's just.
But I think what Jen is saying is like, if they, well, actually no, Jen, because all they need to do, they don't need to hear the American actor, they just need to see the video.
No, but you do the voice first, and then they animate it to the voice.
Do they?
Typically, yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, for the original animated film, but
right.
Like the voice acting is just the voice acting. It has nothing to do with like they're not trying to match the mouth movements or anything like that
you're talking about?
I think there's story
for any translation
to see.
I'm saying like there's a movie. It exists now.
Wait, hold on.
Here is a script translated into Spanish.
Jen says,
here's your script.
So hold on. Jen Sedai is in chat and happens to work in the industry.
Lip flat matching.
They do lip flat matching.
So do they change the words
this isn't
sometimes
like the
to make it look like what they're saying?
60s
because
Godzilla
it's not
movies.
like an exact translation to try, like when they translate a song and like try to make it rhyme even though they're saying something different.
I don't think they're
not like literally translating it.
I don't think they need to literally match every single one, but I think
of course not perfectly.
They do their best to try to match it up.
She's saying they try to translate with syllables that match.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's nice to have industry professionals in the chat.
Yeah,
Thank you. We don't know anything.
We haven't even gotten into the episode
We're just
yet,
guessing.
So let's keep it rolling, everybody.
Let's keep it moving because this is what everyone came here for. It's #Hen News. Juliet Howland is preparing for MalkieriCon. And since I haven't been here, I don't know if it's been mentioned that there's a raffle at MalkieriCon to name Juliet's new hen.
Oh,
we did.
Have you seen this? Have you heard about this?
We've talked about it on the show.
So here's the thing.
I wasn't here.
Here's the thing. Can we can bid on this, right?
Oh, it's not a raffle. Is
it a raffle or is it an auction?
It's an auction.
I don't know.
I'm not sure. I don't know. See, I don't have that information.
That was the most New York pronunciation of that word that I've ever heard.
It's an auction.
Is it an auction?
Well, Jen was out on the island for a few days, so.
It was an auction. I don't know. I said raffle, but yeah, maybe it is an auction. Yeah. How am I supposed to say it? Is it an auction?
An auction.
Well, now you're overcorrecting.
Yeah, you sound like saying option, but dropping the P.
I would say auction.
What are you saying?
Auction.
Auction. That's how you say it? Shut up. Auction. That's how I say that word.
That's fine.
Anyway, fine. It might, yeah, I think you do have to have a ticket, but you could have a virtual ticket to bid. But I don't have any information about that, and I apologize. You might have missed it already by Monday. But I'm going to just continue. I'm going to press on.
I need to find out. We need to find this out. We need to, if it's an auction, we need to win this auction so we can name that damn hen. That's all I'm going to say. Go ahead, Jen.
Okay, well, we'll look into it. So anyway, now I understand that's the true reason why she rejected our suggestion of Mogeti hen, because no other reason made sense to me until I heard this news, because obviously it's the best name. But anyway, in a series of 2 posts on Instagram, Juliet writes, as Melchiori Con kicks off, and as I haven't posted for a while, I thought I'd share some photos of my girls. First up is Perry Hen Golden Eyes, big, fluffy, cuddly super hen who has the capacity to look very angry, so like her semi-namesake, Marcus Rutherford. Adorable pictures of the hen and Juliet with the hen, and then a close-up shot of Perry Hen and a close-up of Marcus. They're basically twins. Please look at these pictures if you have a chance. The hen is giving the parent rage face.
It's the same picture.
Yeah, it's the same picture, right?
The hen needs golden eyes. This is definitely.
It has golden eyes.
No,
it's yellow. They're like yellow.
It's black. It's very black, is what I'm saying. Yeah, we need to turn this into a meme stat.
It is. Yeah, it's the same. Yeah, it's the same picture. Somebody do it, and then we're posting it. We take credit for it. Nobody do it. I changed my
Nobody
mind.
in chat.
Okay. Nobody do it.
Oh, you're banned.
Okay, so the second post says, second up, my soon-to-be named sweet little one. One moment living with 2,499 other hens, then within a day living with one other hen and humans, and being so sweet and tame and adorable from the start. Rescue hens will never cease to amaze me. Thank you to everyone who cares about these amazing little things. Hashtag Hen News, at Tokaran Riyadh, at Malkieri Khan, Malkier Talks, Weekly Wheel News, and many more. Thank you. Guys, I didn't think hens could be adorable until I started this podcast, but you know what? I was wrong. And the last picture of this nameless sweet little baby has a background of our Hen News t-shirt created by Rob from Weekly Wheel News and in New Creations by Jen. Just perfect, no notes. And we got to report back with whatever name wins out. I hope it's not like when people from New York enter contests to try to name things. Like, I forget what the suggestions were for the baseball team on Staten Island, but they were all just awful.
Maybe we can use one of those names.
No, they were awful because people are dumb. So I hope everyone uses this opportunity to be creative and pick a wonderful name, because this little beautiful hen has to live with it, whatever you pick.
Right. Yes. We don't want any Bodie McBoat faces
Remember
here,
that.
right?
Any McKen face.
All right. I think it's time.
Okay, so I'm good.
Oh,
yeah, back to you, Joe.
All right, thanks.
We forgot.
And that's our show.
No, I was going to start talking about this episode. So we're doing our rewatch of season 2. We're going to be doing our standard spoiler-free conversation up front, and then Brendan will exit and we'll talk a little spoilers, and we do have a piece of news we want to talk about if we have time to get to it. So let's just jump right into it. I mean, so first off, I want to ask this question. This is, I think, the burning question. Did y'all have to sit through the commercials now when you rewatched it?
Yes.
How do you feel about that?
That's actually one of my notes.
It's my first note.
I have my notes in chronological order, so it's my third note. But my note here is
also my third note.
Commercials suck, though. Now I do want Fruity Pebbles.
The commercials on this are, I mean, whatever. It's annoying because it's something we already pay for. But the commercials on this are at least timed better than the commercials on another Amazon Prime show, Batman Caped Crusader.
Okay.
Because the commercials in that cut in literally in the middle of dialogue.
Oh.
Like it's not timed right. Yeah. So like Harvey Dent will start saying something and then boom, a commercial for Fruity Pebbles or something. And it's the worst. So at least these like came after a break in a scene.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. There was one that was, I think, it seemed a little jumpy, but yeah, I did not like the commercials. It's just like
the music cuts out. It's like, and then it goes to commercial.
I mean, this is how people watch television for 50 plus years.
That's true. That is true. But I guess it's something
go to the bathroom and get a drink during that time.
Yeah, I would say this. The only thing is, TV back then was designed with commercial breaks in mind.
That's true.
And while these breaks were at least in between scenes, the show was not designed for 30 90 seconds of advertising. So it did make me wonder whether I was going to cough up the extra when season 2 comes out, just to get the viewing experience the way.
Absolutely not.
It was not that bad.
They can have that extra $3 when they pry it from my cold dead heads.
I have to tell I
buy more stuff on Amazon.
Like yeah, it's true. All right. So there you go, Joe.
Yeah, that was my first note. So we started off on a bad foot right there with the commercials. I was like, oh, that's right. Because I haven't watched Amazon in a while. Actually, when I watched The Boys, I don't really remember it, though, in The Boys. For some reason. I don't remember I think in The Boys, they only did commercials up front and at the end. I don't think they did any middle of the show commercials.
Sometimes they do that with movies on the various streaming services.
Yeah. Because I don't remember it in The Boys, but it was definitely jarring in The Wheel of Time. Maybe because I'd seen these already and was kind of pre-programmed to have seen them without commercials. I don't know. It just, Amazon, you suck.
Did Rings of Power have commercials? Because I feel like I just watched it. I don't remember.
I think it does.
I don't remember. Okay, maybe I'm just used to it now.
Maybe they did it. They might have went up front and at the end only too, like maybe because they were like, oh, it's our opening weekend for our big show. Let's not piss people off with commercials in the middle of the. I think I do remember seeing them though, for sure. So.
Let's just piss people off with everything else about the show.
Yes, let's piss people off. Exactly. All right, so we have our cold open for episode 1. It's the quote unquote dark friend social, as book fans love to call it. Ishamael's there with all the dark. So I have a question. I don't know if this was asked before. Now I mean this is not a little spoilery, but not really spoilery, because they talk about like the dream world in season 2, and Rand goes into it. So we're learning about that. Teleran Riyadh. It's what our podcast named after, if anyone wants to know. It says in the X-ray that this takes place in Teleran Riyadh, right? Which I think we knew, right? That wasn't confusing. Yeah. But I don't know if we ever asked, why would a little girl be in Teleran Riyadh? Like if the little girl was going to this event,
doesn't really make any sense
with her mom or her dad, she's probably sleeping or at home. Like,
why would you bring your daughter to Teleran Riyadh?
Yeah, like
you're in bed.
Did they say, oh, you know what? Yeah, you're sleeping. Well, no, actually, I think if it's in the books, they might not be sleeping. I think he just appears, like he opens a portal to Teleran Riyadh.
Right. So this is book. I think the answer to this is book spoilery, Joe. It's not spoilers for the future. It's just like it's clearly defined how people leave this meeting in the book, and so if you reverse engineer that, like, okay, fine. I don't have a babysitter. The kid's coming with me.
Okay,
probably better to leave the kid alone wherever you are.
Well, yeah. I mean, you didn't know,
but.
Well, I think they knew somewhat.
She did that. I don't think that mother.
Look, also you have to understand, everybody in that room is evil. So
yeah. But she makes it out okay. Anyway, I just thought that was odd.
Maybe that kid just fell asleep and is having like a Dorothy in Oz moment.
Doesn't
it's just some random kid, or no, because her mom's there.
Her mom is there, and it's not supposed to work that way. But they change stuff all the time.
I also realized that, like, I think we all kind of maybe thought or were worried that this little girl was going to die in the scene, but they ended season 1 by killing a little girl off screen. So I don't think they were.
We don't know that girl died.
That's true. We never saw her die. So
there
was another little girl who definitely died in episode like 3 or 4.
Yes, like how many little girls are they going to kill? So they had
as many as they need to.
This girl got away, even though I actually thought she got killed. I forgot that they make a point of saying she got away, so I feel like she should come back later.
So my next note is, where are all the little boys? There's a lot of little girls in this show, but we meet one little boy, right? Is he the one? Would you consider him little, the white cloak boy from the first season?
You don't meet him.
Well, you know what I mean.
He appears on screen.
We meet him as viewers of a television show. Meet somebody. On TV.
Where are all the little boys?
Yeah, and I think
down.
Isn't one of the farmers' families, right? That ambush Rand, Matt, and Tom. I think Aren't they
Oh,
boys?
yeah, there's
of
a brother in that
Yeah.
family. He also gets killed by the Fade.
Yeah.
Was there a brother?
Yeah,
I
they
thought
remember the
so.
mom and the brother come up with the arrows
Yeah.
Oh.
when they're in the woods.
I don't even remember him. That's how much of an impression
Well,
he
he's
made.
not. That's the only scene.
He
he's in.
doesn't have a heartwarming scene with Matt that becomes very tragic soon.
Well, that's what
So-
I'm saying. Yeah, the Grinwells. Anyway, that's just a note I had here. So now we know, and we knew this a few episodes into the show, right? The under the table, there's the the Sean Chen noble woman with the long nails. We know that's Soroth. We learn later on. So here's something I noticed too, right? So when Ishamael is talking about Rand, right, the camera pans to the woman. Well, we assume a woman under the table with the glove on, and she's got the black, like the ring, the Aes Sedai ring on it.
Yeah.
Just at that exact same time is when you hear the female voice say, we are to kill him, like asking the question to Ishamael. I never noticed that those kind of happened at the same time. So I guess, are they trying to visually tell us that that's the person who's speaking, not some other woman at the table?
Oh, I don't know. It just says woman in the captions.
But
I
it's
don't know.
on, like the camera's
Yeah.
on her when you hear the voice talk.
Yeah, I don't think that really means anything if whoever asked it.
Well, I mean, it means it may not mean. I lost it. Wow.
I think what you're trying to go for is like it's definitely meant to make you think that's the same person, whether that's true or not. It could be a planned bit of subterfuge from the show, but I think it's you're meant to draw that conclusion.
Yeah. And I guess we, later on, I guess we can assume that that's Leandrin, although I was thinking today about trying to match the voices up, but
I don't believe that's Leandrin's voice.
yeah.
That doesn't mean it's not Leandra.
Yes.
But it doesn't mean it's, yeah.
Right.
That's true.
Yeah.
I think we need to get like one of those FBI voice experts in here and run it through like a
Voice
spectrometer.
recognition.
A spectrometer? Really?
Yeah.
I have been waiting for my Patreon dollars to go to something fun. So yeah, something. big.
Let's run their voice through something that measures light.
An oscilloscope? No, it wouldn't be an oscilloscope. Some
There is right.
Well, that
We know
measures
we're
sound.
talking
A mass
about here.
spectrometer.
That's it.
Okay.
A Geiger counter, whatever.
Yeah.
Something that measures something.
EKG. No, what is it? What do they call it? The Ghostbusters? What do they use?
Oh, I don't know.
PKE.
PKE?
PKG is also a thing.
I
That does not measure
The
voices.
PKG? That's what it
Is
called?
it a PKE or PKG?
The PKE, yeah. I think of the PKE.
PKE, yeah, one of those things.
Plasma something?
I don't know. Plasma, kinetic energy.
Sure.
Sure.
I'll buy it.
Probably like
Fine.
all right, well,
I don't know.
Sounds good.
Anyway, that's all I had for that part. Anyone have anything else? Those are my notes for the cold open.
So just
I
on
still
that,
like
it's an electroglottograph,
Thank you.
an EGG.
How did you not
That's
know that?
That's what measures.
An egg.
That's the voice analyzing.
Well, we
Tool.
need one of those, and we could run it through there.
And
Right?
then what?
They thought on blurring was
Compare it
crazy. Wait till they
Compare
see
it to
this.
every voice on the show to see
Yes.
who it is. Okay.
All right.
Wait till they get a load of me.
I am stunned that the Ghostbusters wiki does not say what PKE stands for.
Oh wow, that's sad.
Psychokinetic energy.
There you go.
Psychokinetic energy. What did you say, Jen? What was it?
Plasma.
Plasma.
Plasma
yeah.
kinetic energy.
Yeah.
All right.
Does anyone have anything else about the cold open?
No.
No, but I wanted something pre-cold open that I wanted to just throw out there quickly. I looked at all the maps again that they have as part of like the extras that are in there, and they have a map of the western half of the continent, a map of the eastern half of the continent, and then an other map.
Mm-hmm.
And the other map just has it's got Tel Riyadh, and it's just the entire map with a question mark. And it's got the ways, which is the same kind of a thing, but it also shows the exact location of where the eye of the world is. which I thought was really interesting. So like it's a definite spot on the map, and it seems in the map's description that is like very equivalent to a different spot in the book. So more to come on that later.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. That's my pre-show show.
I'm sorry, I don't want to read my next note, but I think I have to.
Oh,
so
boy.
I'm cutting over to Tiffin's well, right? So we start, right? We have Moraine with the well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
No, it just seems
It's
that
the
the
big
well
show.
is a bit far from the home of Delius and Varen. Wouldn't you like build your home a little closer to the well, to the water
Here
supply?
we go.
maybe there wasn't
I
any
also
water
didn't want you to
there.
read this note.
Maybe it was like maybe that was the only place you could dig a well.
No, I know, but why wouldn't you build the home? Like the well was there probably before the house, right? You think, or
I don't know. Maybe they already started. The contractors already started building, and they just couldn't.
they couldn't find
couldn't read
water,
the
and
whole
then they were
thing.
like they had to keep going
Yeah.
further away. Yeah, I guess
Yeah,
that's a good excuse.
I do
like
want to say Tiffin's well is not the name of her house. It's the name of the place that she lives.
Yeah.
The well is for everybody.
Yeah, well,
She's rich and
every-
powerful and lives on top of a hill.
I didn't
right?
see any other towns anywhere nearby when they showed that wide shot of the cliff and everything.
Yeah, they're all behind the well,
Oh, they're
the other
behind
way.
on the other side.
They're behind the camera. Yeah.
Right. So
If I was
I-
rich, I would have built my house over the well.
And made everybody pay me to
it's,
use it.
it's my well now.
It's well, look, I have a house on it.
Baron's well.
$1,
So-
one gold mark for a jug of water.
Jeez, man, you're harsh. The note that I had about this whole beginning scene was a comparison to the season 1 recap that starts the episode, right? The season 1 recap that starts the episode, one of the first things that's featured heavily is the relationship between Lan and Moraine and their bath scene, where Moraine is waited upon in the bath and then with a wave of her hand casually heats it up. And to compare that scene, which I think is very specifically, that's the scene that they chose to show, to this is the amount of work that she has to do to get a bath, and it's still not much like where she was a year ago. I think it was a very conscious choice.
She has to double up and wash her clothes in her bath while she's taking a bath, which is kind of scuzzy.
And cook in it.
Yes, she was also making a stew
Stew.
in the tub.
Yikes.
Trollocs from miles away could smell it and came.
Deleted scene with Bugs Bunny. Just doing the backstroke.
This is the first time I noticed a scar on her shoulder when she's in the bath from season 1.
That's something. That's actually something I have a note on too. But I mean, it's really for the next scene. But so I don't want to jump ahead. But
Jump ahead, pardon.
I guess I'm doing it anyway.
Jump.
Because Lan also has a bunch of scars. Lan has like a bunch of old scars on his back and on his chest and everything. And this is a semi-rhetorical question because I don't want to be spoilered or anything, and it probably doesn't matter. But who are they fighting?
So
When
Lan
they're out and
was
about.
Well, Moraine's scar was from season 1 when she got stabbed during the Trolloc fight.
yeah.
Remember, she had the stab
well, that
wound for
makes
like the
sense,
first
yeah.
3 episodes.
right.
Lan's
Land
just
was
fighting-
before he was a warder.
Yeah.
He was a soldier, and so he fought a lot of people. In like,
Oh, okay.
he fought
Yeah,
in a war. At least one war.
he was
fought
in the IO.
Trollocs,
He was in the
like-
IO war.
Yeah, but he
and he
fought
also fought
Trollocs.
Trollocs because he was up in the borderlands, is right along the Blight where the Trollocs kind of come down from. So like they spend a lot of time up in the borderlands just fighting off Trolloc hordes and like raids and stuff like that.
Okay.
So that's
asked
yeah,
and answered.
yeah. That's not like spoilery at all or anything either. That's just
Okay.
yeah. He was before he was a warder too. He was like a soldier and as well. So
I also just imagine like whatever they've been getting up to for the last 15, 20 years, like they've gotten into a number of rough spots. Like you can tell from the fight in season 1, like whatever they've been doing, they clearly have battle maneuvers together.
Sure. I just the impression that season 1 gives is that this has been, for however long they've been doing this, a covert operation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is. It's been a covert
yeah.
operation.
I wouldn't think involved a whole lot of knockdown, drag out fights with monsters, but maybe not. Maybe
Probably not with monsters. I think you're right. I think maybe, having to maybe fight off some angry, I don't know, townsfolk or even like bandits and things like that, typical things you would find in your fantasy realm, bandits and thugs and
random encounters, displacer beasts, owlbears, the be. Like.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. Just jumping back to the bath thing again, like I might have noticed this the first time, but like I definitely noticed it more this time. Like it's many months after the end of season 1, and she's still trying to channel, and that's like just very sad.
It is. It's very sad. This is a great scene. Yeah. I really like this scene because it says a lot in just like a minute, like 30 seconds. With, like you said, it's been a while. She's still trying. You could see it on her face that she is still feeling this huge loss. And I think it conveys to the viewers, people who don't know anything about the books, like this is what it feels like when you're able to use that magic and then you lose it. It's not just like, oh, I lost my magic, this sucks. It's like they're so connected to it that losing it's like losing a love, like your family member. To be honest, it's probably worse because it doesn't really go away ever. Whereas you can kind of learn to cope with the loss of another person.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I really like this scene.
I think this is something that didn't. I agree. I also really like the scene. It's something that I didn't realize last time I watched this episode, because we don't learn about this until later in the season, that Moiraine, in addition to losing her access to her magic, we find out later that Moiraine basically comes from a very like a borderline noble, very wealthy family.
They're not borderline noble. They're very noble. Her uncle was the king.
Well, there you go.
Was the king before he was killed.
But and now here she is. She doesn't have magic. She's, like Joe said, washing her clothes in her bathwater, and she is. It really emphasizes how far gone she is, and like how, because she is very much not equipped for this. This is not her wheelhouse at all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So again, this is something that wouldn't have been able to occur to me last time I watched this episode.
Yeah, I think on a broader sense, Brendan, just on that, I think having seen the whole show, so much of the thematic elements of the season are set up in the first episode, even though you're not necessarily aware that that's what they're doing. And I think that's like where she is at the beginning, like really sets up her entire journey.
Yeah, and so I'm jumping way ahead here, but like Brendan said, you learn later on like that she's a noble from, at least a once very, noble house or a powerful house later on. And it's interesting because at this time, right now, she's at a loss. Later on, she kind of picks herself up and starts to like use those skills she learned like as a noble, living in the at court, so to speak, and learning all that information and the skills she learned before she was a channeler. She starts to like hone those later on. That I like about her arc in this season. I just watching this episode, like, I don't know how everyone else feels, but just watching the scenes between her and Lan were just like really tough to watch, just because I think, like, I don't know. And this is from a book reader's perspective. I think, I don't know, Brendan, how you felt, because from a book reader's perspective, this is like, what's going on here? Like, this is nonsense. From a TV perspective, though, how did you feel?
Well, I mean, the two scenes introducing them or reintroducing them. They're, like Joe said, they're the scene with Moiraine in the bath and the scene with Rand doing his Lan. Shit, god damn it. Like they're very good at establishing the like the mindset of the characters and where they are mentally, emotionally, et cetera, et cetera. And like they're relatively short scenes. Nobody says anything. They're all alone in these scenes. And so like they're very good. I wouldn't say they're hard to watch. Like there are scenes later in the season that are like, I remember talking about it last time, how I shouldn't be seeing this. This is too intimate and too realistic. So I kind of see what you're saying. And this is a point I was going to make later, but we're talking about it now. The Lan and Moraine parts of the show continue to feel like a different and better show than the rest of it. Like purely, almost entirely because Rosamund Pike and Daniel Henney are, no disrespect to the rest of the cast, just much better at it than most of the rest of them.
Interesting.
I don't know if I fully agree, but I do feel like rewatching this, we'll get to it later on. There is one person in the show that I think this episode is not their strongest episode, and I'll leave it at that for now. We'll get into it more later. But I think, I don't know. I don't know I don't know how you were asking that question, Joe. I think in rewatching it for me, like I got this sense when we were first watching it, but even more so now, like how petulant Lan is being in this. Like he really is like 100% in his own feelings, and like everyone's like, dude, think of what she's going through.
Yeah,
Wait,
one of my
I have an opposite.
Go ahead, Jen.
Complete opposite note to that, because when they're at the dinner, I'm going ahead in the episode, and they're saying that like, no, this is, but like she's not being a bitch to him like tangentially because of what she's going through. She's being a bitch to him on purpose because she's trying to drive him away from her.
Yes,
right.
But and whether or not that's like she's doing it for the right reasons or whatever, but she's not like in a bad mood and taking it out on him. She's purposely being nasty and horrible to him.
Yes.
Both things can be
for
true.
a reason, but like
Both things,
it's not just like don't take it like it is personal to Lan. She's personally doing it to him, like to make a. I don't know.
I think Brendan is
she's
on
white
the,
fanging
hit the
him. I
nail
have that
on
in
the
my
head.
notes.
No, I think Brendan hit the nail on the head. Both can be true, and I think they both
she's
are
doing
true.
both.
And I think
at once.
That might be why for me it's a little hard to watch, because they're both being total jerks. And it's totally off book. And
no, it's off book.
You're
but I'm
wondering
totally
like,
on
why,
Lan's side.
like, why couldn't I get some more of something else that's in the book?
I think that goes into Brendan's other point, which is like, these are really good actors. We want to use them.
Yeah,
like
I get it, but
you do some acting stuffs,
I know.
And so,
But like, what should Lan have done? Just like let her treat him like shit?
Sometimes
just take it?
Sometimes there's no right answer.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like there's literally nothing Lan could do. So like it's almost pointless to say like, oh well, he's doing the wrong thing. Like there's no right thing. You just gotta let her get through it. And
yeah, let me ask you this: like, just putting it like, let's say, God forbid, something unbelievably horrible happened to you, right? And like, you're going through a lot of terrible emotional stuff. You may be lashing out at people or whatever. Do you think it would be worthwhile for your husband to be like, I can't believe how she's treating me? Or should he shut up and just be there for you?
I just don't like that she's just being so mean to him.
Yeah, it is
like
pointed.
him. Like he doesn't deserve that. And I know what you're saying. I understand what you're saying, but like he's her friend too. Like it's
deserves got nothing to do with it.
I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah, she's cold like William Money. So is that what you're saying, Brendan?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying, actually.
And he's Little Bill. So Bail Dolman, right? There's that good scene with. I was just staying on the Tiffin's Well storyline here. I know obviously it jumps back and forth, but this is basically three main stories going on in this episode. So there's the scene with Belle Doman. Right now we know he comes in with the Quendayar and he says, some moon dial shattered in Kyrian. We now know that is Lanfear was broken free. So that's I like how they set that up, and then that pays off, I think, again at the end of the season with him. So that's kind of cool. I kind of appreciated the scene more now, even though it's a really fun scene where she kind of tricks him. Do
you think that she knew that he had a written copy of the poem? That someone saw him why if that's what she needed, why?
So
how did she know that?
They mentioned that there's been 20 visitors. I think Adelius or somebody says that before the
scene. A lot of people have come see her.
So
were they all for different reasons?
I don't know. She's probably trying to find out. Does she? I forget now. Does she know already that something's going on with Lanfear, and that's why? No, not yet. Not until she gets this note, right?
No,
she just knows that something's going on.
No, once she gets the letter, though,
that's the Lanfear thing. Yeah, this entire time she just thinks that what they thought was the last battle wasn't, and things are worse. So she's just trying to find out what that worse is.
So she's just kind of reaching out to all her contacts and saying hey, is anything going on? What's any news? Checking.
I think she likely has things of hey, have you seen people gone? Like things that would imply evil stuff is happening under the surface, right? Because obviously, if a Forsaken just showed up, everyone would know that, hey, a city just blew up or whatever. So it's probably more subtle than that, of what she's looking for. But yeah, I think that's what she's doing. She's gathering information.
And I think she also thinks that, Shamael or whoever the man in black, whoever they want to call him, the Dark One, is not really dead. So I guess there's that. Maybe she's looking for signs of that. Oh, she's also looking for Rand, though. No, she knows Rand is there.
No,
right?
she knows where Rand is.
And
establish
that
and watching that scene again, when he mentions this was a sundial that blew up in Carrion, you can see a subtle reaction on her face, that's not a place where I want things to be happening.
Well, also that is Quendayar that, he says, it's unable to be broken. Moon dial.
Because it's made of the one power. It's made of pure concentrated one power, which is the exact sort of fantasy bullshit gobbledygook that I love. It's just made of this. Okay, sure, cool.
Well, it's not
that stuff.
It's
made of this invisible magic that no one can see. All right,
that's it. Except
it's not made of it. Though. It's made
from. He said it's made of it. He does say that.
He doesn't know, but he's a fucking sailor.
Sailor. I have to say, I love Belle Doman. He's so great. Good, I love his reaction to getting swindled is terrific. I think it's such an endearing, you got me. He's just.
I want the joy back when we first heard her say Master Doman. What?
Yes, he was good. I hope he's in later, some of the later seasons.
I'm so sad.
She swindles him so effectively, and she cons him so well. Sort of proving that she can still do stuff is that's a big part of the scene, but also she's so good at this part of being a wizard spy that it makes me, and I talked about this a little last time, I was it really makes me wish that her and Swan had switched jobs 20 years ago.
It's so funny because
she was the wizard pope, and Swan went out and had to camp a lot, because I think they would have solved it 20 years ago. Just found the kid, brought him up right.
Moraine never had that ambition,
to the dark with the shit,
to be a leader.
And it all would have been fine.
Yeah, she just didn't have
on Earth 2, everything's fine. Of course, Swan is.
I think it's my favorite insight that you brought to this is I think you're so 100% correct, and the thought never occurred to me.
No,
they just have the wrong.
Moraine doesn't want to do that, though. She doesn't want to be Amerlin.
Too bad.
Do you think she wants to do this?
Yeah, I think she'd much rather do this.
She wanted out. And like
Well,
in the books,
she also wanted to get away
Right.
from. Yeah, I don't want to get into some of that stuff. But
It's the shit what she wants. They got to kill the devil.
that's right.
That's what. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's what Luz wanted to do. Didn't work out. All right.
I didn't notice it the first time or second time I watched it, but this time around, when Lan has that conversation with Tomas out in Tomas's tomato garden. First of all, I wanted one of those. I wanted one of those signs you buy like your mom or your dad for their garden. It just says Tomas's tomatoes, or something like his little 2-year-old kid made for him.
Tomas is really handsome, by the way. I never noticed.
Tomas is handsome. I didn't notice it.
Handsome.
Everybody's handsome.
He's really handsome when he's like, I don't know what the exact line is.
He says,
like, well, Moraine, I'll take care of Moraine too. Like, don't worry.
Yes.
And I got this. I'm like, oh, okay.
Did you see Lan's face when he said that? He was like, that's my woman. I'll kill you.
No, I don't think he meant like that. Not that Lan cares about that, but it was just like,
no, I'm not even saying, I don't mean it like that.
I got this. I'm handling it up here.
I mean, like, I'm her water, not you. You're not her water.
Well, yeah.
But you know.
And I'll go one further. I think that's why Tomas said it, right? Because again, Lan's in his own feelings and he's focused on himself and what she's doing to me, and I can't believe she's doing this to me or whatever. And he's like, "Hey, look, man, you don't want to be your water. You can go. I'll be your water." And then to get him to no, wait, that's my job. That's what Tomas doesn't have any ego. Apparently, he's picking tomatoes.
Tomas wants him to leave though, so I don't know if he meant to.
I don't think he does.
Why?
I think
because
I don't think he really does.
Isn't the conversation?
No, he's like, you could leave if you want. Like, go ahead.
Right.
Yeah.
I got this.
Right, but I think that's like if you don't want to be a warder anymore, then stop being a warder. If you want to be a warder, shut up.
Yeah. Just stop being a little bitch.
Right.
There you go. And then we get a cool fight at the end. I'm still not sure about
dark.
It is very dark. I'm still not sure about the number of fades that were there. It's very confusing.
I was looking at the captions for the whoosh noises to see. I'm like, oh, that's another fade. Okay, good.
I don't think the one that Moraine stabbed died. That's my theory.
That's my rewatch this time. It is not dead, and it gets up and joins the fight. Well, then kills two of them. And Tomas and I think they just killed one.
I think only kills one, and Tomas and
he chops the head off of one.
Yeah,
but he kills another one first. He kills one. He jumps in. He jumps in and he kills one. Yeah. He jumps in, kills
right off, right from the jump.
And then I think he kills another one in the fight because there's only one left when Tomas and Vera show up.
There's two. Well, she kills one right with the one power, and then he stabs one with the sword. Right? Is that what happened? The flaming sword.
I thought it was the same one. It's very dark.
It's very
dark. I had forgotten how thoroughly the Fades fuck Lan and Moraine.
Oh,
yeah.
I thought they had more of a triumphant ending to the first episode. I completely forgot
they're dead if those two don't show up.
Yeah,
they're a second away.
Shit on the ground, bleeding.
But I guess
think about
okay, Brendan, you're first.
It is dark, but the thing about how dark the scene is it makes it very effective that the Fades are just appearing out of literally nowhere. Like when Moraine first encounters the first one, you don't even see. It's just like its sword appears, like Darth Vader's lightsaber.
Yeah,
and it's very effective, but it is very dark.
They did a really cool job with the Fade. I'm so happy they did that effect with them. That made me very happy.
Yeah, like they make reference to it in the first season that the Fades can move between shadows in a way that it sounds like that's an old wives' tale, just about them.
Yeah.
And then in this one, the guy just walks into the shadow of one rock and shows up in another one. You're like, what the? And it does. I think it's like it is. I think it's dark on purpose as opposed to dark for I don't know. Aesthetic reasons. I think sometimes things are dark to be dark. I think this is dark to disorient, to show you how difficult it is for them to navigate this situation. But also, I think show like all Moraine does when Lan appears is warn him and try and protect him.
Yeah.
Like even though she's like, and that shows you like what she really feels about him.
Yeah. And he tries to protect her.
Yep.
But then
and they fail.
Then we get episode 2. We'll talk about that next week though. Let's cut over to the White Tower. We get the lesson with Alana where Egwene and Nynaeve, with the whole cup of water that Nynaeve slams down.
My favorite character, Exposition Blonde.
That's right.
Yes, that was
another person who was supposed to be someone, and then they changed her name right at the before the show came out.
Oh yeah, they did change her character name.
I noticed too that Nynaeve's first line is to Egwene. She says, "Don't smile," and then later Lan also says, "Don't smile" to Moraine. They both say, "Don't smile" in the episode.
Oh,
I love that. That's Nynaeve's first line, though. It's just perfect. Don't smile.
I'll tell you what.
We're not having any fun.
She's right that she does have character. So, I agree 100%. Nynaeve, you don't need to build character. You have plenty.
So I have a I have a note in here for the post Brendan part. But I will say this. I think one of the complaints that we had in season 1 is that the White Tower was 3 rooms.
Yeah.
And one of them was a bedroom. And they immediately try and address that by making like showing you a million different rooms, like hallways, people, things. Yeah, I mean that's
and then later on that that's just kind of like sitting.
She's walking, and it's like a carousel, and they're just like setting the next room as she's walking.
Yeah, exactly. It's the carousel of progress. But I do think they try to do that, and I at the same time, while showing like, hey, there's hallways and stairwells and different rooms, different places, and they also make it clear visually that like there should be a lot more people here than there are.
I know,
like everything's set up to hold more people, which is addressed in dialogue later on in the episode. Yeah. But like it in the beginning, you're just like, this is a huge, like these hallways are gigantic, and like 2 people walking past them, it's like the emptiness is ridiculous. But then they're like, there should be thousands of people in this place, and there aren't anymore.
Yeah,
and I do think they do a good job of kind of addressing.
I have trouble getting past that myself, but you're 100% right. Like I'm wanting like a Hogwarts type of vibe, but more serious and with older people. But you're right, it's not supposed to be packed like Hogwarts. I don't know. It still feels. It does feel bigger. So
it feels big. It doesn't feel as big as you want it to be.
Yeah.
But it feels much bigger than season 1.
Yeah. I would like to see a gathering of more than just like 2 or 3 people. I mean, because
there was like 9 people in that one scene. And they were all very dramatically spaced out from each other to make it seem maybe like there was 4 people in the room.
Cardboard cutouts.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
That's a way to go.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you get like in that one scene, you get novices not doing work but watching warders train, right? You get to see the novices in the scullery like cleaning, right? You get a few senses of like there's a bunch of people here and they're doing stuff. People besides our main characters are doing stuff in this building.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Drinking that dirty water without even making a face. Come on. Nobody can do that. You saw the stuff that
she made a look that she hesitated at one point. Like she starts drinking it and then seems to reconsider and then just keeps going.
I was very much paying attention to like
I'm in it now.
All the food that got scraped in there. And
it's so gross. Oh my God. Not even a gag. She didn't even make a face like ugh. Took it. Wow.
She does say, like, she sets it down at the end and she says, you didn't say it had to be clean, and that's really disappointing. You've made your point.
Yeah.
Just put the glass down and leave.
I don't think you needed to explain it, but I guess we need a little
that's a Nynaeve trait, I feel like. Just
my wife
you have to get the last word in. You can't just
like that wasn't enough.
Yeah.
I didn't
My wife was saying
on my way
acting like a 12-year-old. And I said, I was like, occasionally Nynaeve does that. And I was trying to like explain some of the stuff, but I like the scene. I don't like the way Alana explains using the one power, to be honest with you. That's kind of like a dorky book thing that bothers me.
What, pulling it from the
Yeah,
elements
she's saying
and-
pulling it with one hand and then pull this with your other hand. That's not really what they teach. But like I said, this is a very nerdy critique of what I'm saying here. So
Yeah, and I think that I think that they're, I mean, whatever. They specifically made it like that so that you
explaining
can
it
show
all wrong, Tom.
But they want to show that Egwene's like,
Yes.
well, I'm gonna do it without using my hands.
Yeah,
right.
They're really latching onto the hands thing, man.
Yeah.
That's their thing now. That's like it's like I don't know what it is for them.
But I like that because
like a
then they're not
pervert.
going to be able to stop people from channeling anymore.
Yeah, I know, but they didn't have to. What I'm saying is they're making this a big deal about the hands, which is
I think it's a big deal to Egwene because she
Yes.
saw, like, she couldn't. I don't know.
no in the show. I mean, like they're using the hands thing.
Yeah, but I think to Jen's
differently,
point, well,
or
that's in
using
the
it.
books.
Yeah,
I don't want to get
It
too much.
is, but it's not like a
Right.
big thing.
No, there's nothing in the books that like someone gets hung up by it. But it's not. Again, I don't think it's to like set up. Although that might happen, I think it's to show what happened in season 1 has affected Egwene, right?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
like she's like that's the point of it. I think.
I know, but I feel like it's gonna. I feel like they're set. They're gonna
Yeah.
affect things down the road in a negative way, but I mean, maybe not. I don't know. I was just thinking down the road. That's all. They're using it as a way to kind of show Egwene's her personality and her perseverance and all of that.
Yeah.
And, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
And fuck them white cloaks. Also, I like that they did this because we talked about this a lot after season 1 aired and some of the issues that we had with the last episode. So they kind of address in dialogue again, like, hey, what you did, what Amelisa did using your power,
Mhm.
right? That's the potential that you have in years if you try really hard, right? So like kind of saying like, hey, they're not going to kill 100,000 people again,
Yeah.
right? Without being exquisitely trained. And I appreciate the fact that it's like, we could scale up to that, but that's not going to be a solution every season, which is a thing that we kind of really talked about. Like, hey, if they could just do that now, why? Like, what threat are you going to give them? Well, they can't do that. They have the potential to do that, but they don't have the knowledge or ability. So I like that.
I like the contrasting scenes we get, right? Because we get the scene with Alana talking about that to Nynaeve, and then we get the Leandrin scene with Nynaeve later on, and it's very different approaches to kind of to meet the same end. And I mean, Leandrin's works, even though it's a little unorthodox, so to speak. But I like the Leandrin scene better, and not just because whatever, I like Kate Fleetwood better than it's not even that. I just like the way that they were able to like show the contrast between different Aes Sedai, and kind of gives you a sense into like, they don't all play by. I mean, they all play by the same 3 rules, but there's a lot of wiggle room within those 3 rules, and they haven't made oaths to anything else but those 3 rules. So they can kind of do their own thing and go their own way if they want to. But just like her explanation of how like the one power is how much better it is than, a sword or something like that.
Yeah. Well, she also, like, at the end, I know I talked about this last time, but when she's like, I want you to have more power, or no one can take your power away from you, not even me. And then it's like she said too much and she has to leave. Like, I don't know, she makes like a face like, oh, what? Like, why did I say that? And then she walks out.
Oh, I haven't noticed that.
Yeah. Although
It's like she got too passionate about it.
Yeah. Although I remember us talking about that the last time, and that was my takeaway the last time. And this time watching it, it's the same, obviously same expression, but like my takeaway now is like, she said, hey, I'm only going to talk to her. And then I wonder if like that wasn't just about the last sentence, but like, oh shit, I shouldn't have done any of this. Like, if she tells anybody, it's like, oh man.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know if she cares about. I feel like there's other scenes in the season where she like not that she likes Nynaeve because she's manipulating her, but I feel like there's some truth to the things that she's saying to Nynaeve.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
and even
I think so
when
too.
she frees Nynaeve's like wrists before she walks, you know, like there's like little where it's like, I have to do what I have to do. And I don't like this girl, but like, you know, she's an Aes Sedai. You know what I mean? Like,
we could have that conversation at that episode because I think I think we did have that conversation, but we could definitely revisit that one.
Yeah, I definitely
that's a good.
I don't know that Leandrin specifically dislikes Nynaeve.
No, but I mean, it's
Leandrin just kind of doesn't like anybody.
Yes.
Yeah, I think, you know, whatever. I know it's like we made a Harry Potter reference before, but I think that Leandrin looks at Nynaeve as like, you know, Harry could have gone to Gryffindor or Slytherin, and like that's where like she's looking at Nynaeve and going like, if I can just push her in the right direction, like she can join all my ashes. Like she's so pissed all the time. I just have to get her pissed at the right things. So I do think there's that enticement, I guess, in regards to that. And like, yeah, I don't think she's necessarily insincere in her desires for Nynaeve to be successful.
So knowing what we know now, having seen the whole season, do you think, right at first you think Nynaeve's trying to recruit her to be, you know, to pick the red, right? Because she's so powerful, like having a red on, you know, another red that powerful would be, you know, tremendous for the Reds. But now do you think, you know, knowing what you know again of season 2, now do you think she's really trying to recruit her for the black?
Yeah, well, they're supposed to be turning them, right? Wasn't that what they said? Like, does he say that at the Dark Friends social?
No, that's it.
Later
That's
when he
it.
says
That's
like, turn all his friends to the dark or something.
Yeah, that's something he says in the last episode, but or the second to last episode.
Could have been discussed and we didn't see it. You know, like
and I think he's just spitting. He's just spitting, you know, shit out of his mouth. That doesn't really necessarily mean anything because he's already given her. Has he already given her at that point to the Shanshan?
Nynaeve?
No, Egwene.
Yeah. When he says that, that's in I think episode 7, where he's like, "This is the plan. We're gonna turn all his friends to the dark, and then he's gonna sacrifice himself to us to save them."
Yeah.
Right?
Meanwhile,
but that's when he's telling Lanfear.
Right.
But so it could have already been discussed.
Also, he could just be lying. He could just be saying stuff just to kind of, I don't know, play a game with Leandrin too.
But yeah, I think I do think that whether it's by instruction or not, yes, I think that Leandrin's goal is to make her a red and a black.
A red and a black. Interesting.
Yeah.
Red. Blood of angry men.
No.
Okay.
Didn't know you were going there. Good.
Go ahead. No, you go.
All right, I'm going. We skipped it, but the Aes Sedai meeting in the middle of the episode when they're in the courtyard and they're discussing a bunch of stuff. Like we talked about this, I think, the first time as well. But I just really love that. Like, hey, this is what the Groms talk about when they're by themselves.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
I kind of want to get more of that, even though I don't want more of it.
I want other opportunities for that. I like the like they kind of started doing this in the first season, and it's seems to be more and more successful. Like Leandrin is shifting the power balance in the tower, right? Mm-hmm. And like seems to have a lot of people agreeing with her mindset of things. And I think that scene shows that.
We talked about it a little bit the first time. They mentioned that Nynaeve, God damn it. They mentioned that Leandrin is not allowed to talk to the novices and not allowed to mentor them because a novice died under her care. And I want to reiterate my position from last time around. It was not an accident. It was not some training mishap. No. Leandrin straight up murdered a kid.
Yeah.
Or like sold a kid. Or something.
She's
child.
She's like, it's dangerous. It's dangerous. I don't know what you want me to do. Like, it's dangerous.
I'm not nervous. You're nervous. What?
Yeah.
Right?
What are you talking about?
You're 100%, right?
Yeah, I did like that scene too. I kind of wished it was a little bit longer, and a little bit more information was shared. But
I wish it was longer and less information was shared.
oh, really?
Like less info dumps.
Just everyone talked slower,
or like maybe just more shots of close-ups of their faces with no dialogue.
Yeah, that sort of thing.
Long
a lot of
pauses.
unnecessary slow motion, like a Zack Snyder movie.
Yeah, long pauses in between each line.
I missed who it was, but someone just put in chat. I was like, fool. The show kills anyone under 12, and Perrin takes care of the rest. And I really like that.
Oh yeah, that Perrin. Speaking of Perrin, before jumping to his side, right? We get the note from Perrin earlier in the episode. We learned that Perrin's writing notes to Egwene and Nynaeve, and apparently writing letters to.
Letters.
Sorry, I'm saying notes.
Stop passing notes.
Stop passing notes. Notes,
Do
letters.
you like me?
It's in the old knothole on the fence.
He's also writing letters back to
home.
Two Rivers, which is weird because it seemed like, and we are jumping ahead, but just because I'm talking about it now, it seems like he was expecting responses from those letters, but he's been traveling on the road. How would the response get to him?
Via
pigeon.
Yeah.
Sure.
Or they get sent to post offices in towns, and he asks, like, "Hey, is there any mail for me?"
Oh, okay.
Huh.
Right.
You have to like guess how.
Every
fast
time he checks into an inn, he Any letters?
I did like the use of the letter though, to like for that exposition and also to convey like the loneliness of all of the, the town, the Two Rivers folk.
I want to say something.
We get the cut to Rand.
No.
There's a line in the I just want to say one thing about the letter. There's a line in the letter that he says the Shinar and say, if you stand in a group covering each other with your shields, nothing can touch any of you. And that's literally what they do in the last episode.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
well done. Well done, Jen.
Foreshadowing.
Wow.
They did it.
Catch, Jen. They did it.
Yeah.
Care Bear stare.
I that was very good, Jen, because I didn't notice that. I was trying to remember what phrase. I was trying to figure out what phrase that he paraphrases. There's a lot of stuff about birds and feathers and whatnot, but like, he's writing home as well. I think specifically to find out if Matt showed up there.
Yeah, he's probably looking for Matt. He's also, I think he's also checking in with his family.
Who's he writing letters to? That's what I want to know.
His family.
His family
Does he
exists.
have a family?
Yeah, I think
He
has
does.
a wife. He does.
He doesn't have a wife anymore.
I got a wife
anymore, but he has parents and such.
You would think.
They didn't seem to notice or care that he was leaving.
No, they weren't
the episode
there.
was over.
They didn't
Have enough time. They ran up 5 minutes
ran out
after
of
they
time.
left.
They just had to go. Let's go. We got to go.
They
What about
could've been
parents'
in a
family?
different-
No, we don't have time.
We're leaving. They're a farm far away.
Tell him I'll write him a letter.
He's probably writing to his lawyer because he killed the woman and immediately blew town.
When's the statute of limitations
Nobody
up? When can I go
knows that,
back?
Brendan. Okay.
We don't know that. We
What?
don't know that
How
nobody
would they
knows
know?
that.
What do they have? Like a forensic guy coming over to check the wound?
They have
This
a
was
post
made by
office.
his hands.
If so says you.
What?
Letters are going somewhere.
Yeah.
I was taken aback. Like, I did feel like Perrin was a better writer than I would think he would be.
Was he taking the piss?
No, that part's great. No, but I feel
Did we ever establish what that means?
He's
it's
making fun of me.
somebody.
Fun
Yeah.
of. What are you talking
taking
about?
the piss. Okay.
Like taking the piss out of somebody. Yeah,
Like
but
peeing on
I
him,
felt
That's just
he
a real
pissed on
saying.
me? I didn't know. I've never heard people say taking the piss. To me, that sounds like, are you drunk? Like, have you been drinking?
No,
Yeah,
that's
so
a real.
you're,
That's
like,
a real.
making
It's
fun
not
of
a.
me.
It's not an American saying, but it's a real
Gotcha.
saying.
Taking the piss. Okay. I'm being told not to drink the piss. So
Yeah.
no. It's good advice, no matter under what context.
Country.
thank you.
Yeah.
Jimmy Dugan.
Avoid the piss.
Take the piss, Jimmy.
Take the piss. Take the piss. Uno no mesta. Yeah, I forgot. I lost track. Sorry. I jumped off with.
We were talking about the letters.
Aaron being a good writer.
Oh yeah, he's a good writer. He's definitely a good writer. He definitely writes a nice letter to the two of them.
Yeah.
Whatever he's writing home. Yeah, I just thought that was weird. I didn't catch it. I didn't realize that he was writing home, and I didn't make the connection. That doesn't make any sense to me. But
it makes, I think, again, so there's more to talk about that later, but I do think it makes some sort of sense. But I think for the most part,
not that he's writing home, that it sounded like he was expecting a response. Like he said, I haven't heard from anybody or my family or the Two Rivers or something. He makes comment about it. I understand writing them letters, but not expecting responses is a whole other story. We'll do that in a separate podcast.
Okay. So
go ahead. You want to say something?
No, I do think that first scene with Perrin when like Loyal comes up to him, like that again is like 30 seconds long and completely sets up like the entire status quo of like, this is where we are, this is what we're doing, this is who you are, this is who I am, let's go. And like, okay, I thought that was a kind of a, we're not going to address
so
how I'm here.
The whole episode, the whole episode does a really good job of establishing the timeline.
Yeah,
it
does a pretty good
where
job.
everybody is relative to everybody else and how much time has passed, which I like. That was a big problem in the first season, and it pretty immediately becomes a big problem in the second season. But they
anchor it.
They made the effort. Yeah, like here's where we are now. For the next 7 episodes, who knows?
Yeah,
but here's where we are now.
But at the end,
I'm going to say let's give him credit for that.
Yeah, there's a weird line in here that I caught, right? So that whole taking the piss scene, right? They're talking about how they're trying to find Fane, and they've been doing it shitty. Like, Uno's been doing a crappy job of tracking him, right? They're hunting Fane. Then Uno makes a comment when they go to meet Elias, like, your fire's going to attract Fane and bring him upon us. And I'm like, but aren't you hunting him, right? Like he makes it like,
yeah, but you don't want it to come up like,
right. We don't want to switch it. We don't want to switch it.
Find him. They don't want him
but they're
to find
not
them.
hunting. But Fane's not hunting them. The Fane's trying to escape them. Why would he go to them? And like, I don't know. It seemed weird.
Well,
they just had a whole conversation about trying to find Fane. And then he's like, what are you doing? Fane's going to see us.
Right. I mean, one, it's probably a little bit of like almost offensiveness by Uno to be like, let me make this guy look bad because he's taking my job. But two, I do agree. Like, Fane may not know he's being hunted by them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's not that they're afraid Fane's going to come get them. They're afraid that Fane's going to see them and run faster.
Yeah.
Well, no,
like,
he said you're going to bring Fane on us.
Yeah,
like,
but like,
oh, did he?
Yeah,
but like,
he said, I think that was the word.
Well, if you're chasing like a scary monster, you don't want them scary monster to know you're behind him because then he'll get you.
I don't know. It feels like they've been almost. I don't. Maybe that's it.
I think that was the joke because Uno's like, I almost had him, and like they never almost had him.
Okay,
that's why they were making fun of him because they were never close.
On that subject. I have a note about how it is hilarious that the thing Loyal chooses to make fun of Uno about is a long-winded story.
Yes,
that's true.
That's perfectly in character.
I love that. I didn't get that. That's good.
I didn't realize that either.
Yeah. And sorry.
No, I'm gonna move on. I was gonna move on a little bit, but
go ahead.
But
go do it.
Do you think that Fane went after those Tinkers because, like, he showed the girl his face in the Dark Friend social? Is that like the mom that he was killing?
I don't know.
Like, I don't understand like any other reason why that whole scene is like confusing to me. Even in the second episode,
the Tinkers were harboring the Shanshan that let
the Shinaran, you mean?
Whatever.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say whatever. It is different. The Tinkers were harboring the Shinaran who let Fane into the Fortress city.
Why were they harboring?
Oh, they were harboring?
They were together.
I thought
I don't
they
know.
were all traveling together. He was traveling with Fane and the Fade.
Yeah,
but think about this:
that's-
if those are Tinkers, they didn't kill those guys. Tinkers aren't going to kill
So
anybody.
then Fane
Tinkers don't
also
kill
killed the
anybody.
Shinar. Oh, a dog killed the Shinaran?
No,
So
the dog was trying to protect him. Fane killed him because he could.
Yes.
I don't know.
Dog-
I don't remember why, but he killed.
Because he's bad. Who
The
knows?
dog was trying to protect the girl, he said.
The dog was
Yeah.
trying to protect
But-
the
The
girl.
girl got away. The dog was trying to protect her. That's
Yeah.
what they said,
Right.
right?
But like, I'm saying those are Tinkers. They didn't kill the Shinaran.
No,
Yeah, right.
Right. Fane had to kill all those people.
But why?
because he's
'Cause he's
Just because
bad.
he's nuts. Just because he's crazy.
because he's
Yeah.
bad.
Like for
And
no,
like,
they
yeah,
weren't
to-
involved. They just came upon them
To,
and decided.
to Brendan's point, it could be like, hey, I'm wrapping up loose ends here. Like,
Maybe
Yeah.
the dog
Do you think
attacked
like
him.
Dana's saying in chat it's not the same girl? I totally assumed it was the same girl.
No, it's not the same
no,
girl.
it's not.
from the
Yeah,
beginning.
we
But
went.
why is there like another girl that's being mentioned?
That's why
and
I
the
said
Tinkers-
there's so many little girls in this show.
No, but it doesn't
Well,
make any.
Joe
Like,
wants to know
who
where the little
cares?
boys
A
are.
little
Little
girl
boys.
got away. Like, okay, that means nothing to anyone or to the story at large. Like, why even say that? Why put that in there?
That's a good question. Maybe because they didn't want to kill another little girl. Maybe they had very strict orders.
Just
No
don't have a little
girls
girl be
are to
there.
die this season.
Why? Why does any of that? Why couldn't they just find the Shinaran amongst the Tinkers? Why even move over to the side and find a dead dog with the Shin? Like, what's even the point
because that makes Pat and Fane worse.
He killed the dog too.
it does.
I'm. This is.
It
If
makes-
I don't understand it, like I'm.
It also like
Shows
the
Perrin's
dead-
abilities.
Yeah, the dead dog. It shows Perrin's abilities, and the dead dog is like, hey, like it's like starting the like Perrin. You're gonna start associating yourself with animals are gonna be as important to you, and like again, like when they're burying everybody, who is Elias burying? The dog, like
Yeah.
like
All right, I
great
can
point.
see. You're right. I
Right,
can see
right, that's
that.
who he
that-
cares about.
because Perrin sees the person running, and then Elias says it, and then he's like, "Oh, okay." Well, like we both know that somebody got away because we saw it. I
Yeah.
guess that makes sense then.
I
Okay.
think it's.
But
yeah.
I really thought it was like Fane came here to kill these Tinkers
no.
because he showed the girl his face at the Dark Friend social.
But
That's what I thought it
Fane
was.
Is on. Well,
I know, but he's not.
They're on the same side. Is I think what Brendan's trying to say.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
they're not
but
like
so is- yes,
friends.
but so
They're
is
not
the Shinaran.
and the Shinaran, right?
Yeah.
They're
Right.
all on the same side.
So I don't know if. So I mean, this isn't spoilers, but just a note from the books, right? There's supposed to be Trollocs with Fane as well, and as well.
right,
as
and
the
all the
Fades.
people that are
I
with
don't
him
know
are
if
Dark
that-
Friends also.
Yeah, I don't
Right?
know if that's the case in the show.
Oh,
It
no,
might
maybe
just
not
be
all of them.
Fane, the Fades, and some Dark Friends.
Even the two Fades.
Yeah, so I don't
And
know.
it's just Fane, like he's by himself.
And you see Fane kill them. It's not
Let's
even
think.
like you see Trollocs kill them, like which would be more, I guess, reasonable or expected. He's just. I think he's just. He's also got that dagger too, which we know
Right.
is evil. So that could have something to do with it as well.
It's just like a
maybe
lot going
the
on.
dagger's hungry for blood.
There is a lot going on.
Yeah, but it's a good catch up, I guess.
Yeah, so I'll say this, right? And just because we've now seen the whole show, right? And we talked about earlier on how a lot of the stuff that they do in this episode is good setup for the whole season. While I think thematically the stuff that happens with Perrin is good setup, I think that a lot of stuff that happens in the first two episodes doesn't get fully explained, and I don't think it ever will. So I do think there's a little bit of a miss here, and some of that is, hey, we edited some stuff and things didn't make the final cut, and like so setup here doesn't pay off here. But like, what exactly happens between this and the next episode never gets explained, and I don't know if it will.
What do you mean? What happens between this?
I don't
and this
remember
episode?
enough
Like
of
with
the
the
next
fade and
episode.
With the who nails the fade to
Oh,
the door,
Yeah.
like never gets explained.
Well, is this also like an escalation, right? So Fane's killing like
Just
Tinkers
people.
and a person, a Dark Friend person, and then he's escalating. He's like a serial killer escalating to
I gotta listen
the
again to
ultimate-
what they
the ultimate
say
game.
because I feel like what they say indicates it wasn't him. So
I don't
that's
know.
why.
That whole thing
Yeah.
is confusing too. There's like a tone, like almost like you should know, or there's clues.
Right,
But I
yeah.
don't think there is.
Right.
I feel like it's just
It's intuitively obvious, Joe.
Yeah.
yes.
I mean, there are whatever. We should talk about this next week. I'm not
Yeah,
even
let's
gonna
talk
say.
about it next
Yeah.
week. Anyone have anything else? Otherwise, I think we can hit the scoring.
We didn't talk about Matt at all.
Oh yeah. Oh, thank you, Brendan.
Or Rand.
Well,
Or about how Perrin is a grown man who can't shut the fuck up during a funeral.
Yeah, I have a note about Perrin being very talkative.
Worst.
Yeah, we skipped the well, I did mention Rand really quick. I think we were talking about something else. Oh, I was talking about the note when they cut to right, that's when they cut to Rand. We already knew Rand was alive though, so it's not like there was a big reveal to us that Rand's alive.
What a jerk.
That's just a reminder in case you skipped the episode 1 the season 1 recap. The beginning.
I just want you to know that Egwene is grieving and he's still alive. Don't forget.
Well, maybe she should have broken up with him in the first episode then.
What a piece of shit this guy was.
She didn't. Remember how he rolled on her in the middle of the night, bounced right out of the bed, and now she thinks he's dead and he's out there with.
She lost him 6 months ago.
In the first episode. In the first half hour of the show.
Brendan.
She breaks up with him.
No.
Before almost anything else happens.
I don't choose you. Yep.
Let's do this debate at WatchCon next year.
Yeah.
Because I will fly on this.
So I also say this because we didn't get through it before, but like when I mentioned earlier, like one of the people I think in this episode does not do as good a job as they do in the rest of the season. The person that I was talking is Madeline Madden. No, it's Madeline Madden. I think that she nails this season overall, but like a lot of her reactions are really, really exaggerated in the first episode. Like between the comedy stuff with Alana, which is funny, but like her reactions in the scene where Nynaeve's reading the letter are like she's really like over emoting to my mind, and I was like, it's like she's much more solid the rest of the season.
I like the letter reading part. You're right. I do agree with the other part about the
that's funny. I don't be wrong, but right. And then I noticed something which I didn't notice the first time. Like when she goes to the door, she's like, she knocks. Lana says, "Come in," and she's like, "Don't you want time to get dressed?" And she's like, "I said, come in." Like, which clearly indicates that like she's walked in on Alana naked before.
Yes.
I love how also Alana's like not embarrassed at all about the mix-up. She's just like, "Oh, all right. Maybe we're talking about." Not like, "Oh my god, I'm so embarrassed."
Yeah.
No, whatever. Okay, we can talk about that if you want to.
One of my notes, which I think was probably one of my notes during the first watch through of season 2, was Alana relentlessly horny.
Yes.
Yeah. Really,
she's like getting horny talking about it with Egwene.
Yeah.
But sub note,
she's like
who
a teenage
does Alana think Egwene is hooking up with? Like,
I don't know.
Because it's very clear.
Well, probably some of the other novices.
Okay.
Or maybe a warrior in training. One of those.
Maybe what's your
because she just assumes that Egwene is there to talk about the logistics of group sex.
Thirsty
water.
She's
like
training.
Thirsty waters.
Yeah.
I think she's like, well, you saw this, you're asking about it.
Yeah.
You clearly got one, you're trying to get a third person in here, get the throuple thing working.
Yeah. I could have done without that scene. I would have, to be honest,
come on.
I could have done without it, and they could have put something else in it instead. I would have. It wouldn't have. I don't think it would have.
That's what she said.
Oh, what? More Aes Sedai who we'll never see again talking about stuff.
Oh, you're going to see those Aes Sedai again.
How do you know you're not going to see him again?
I don't know if you're
hope you paid attention to everybody in that room.
You're going to see a bunch of those people again. So
they do show up. Most of those people are in the background of a scene later this season.
Yes. Oh right? yeah. When they go to Carrion,
they all go to Carrion. Almost all those people.
Yeah.
And that's all I'll say about that. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. But the Matt stuff, like there was nothing I saw in that scene that I didn't.
Yeah.
There was no new insights I got.
No, I like the transition from the letter reading to Egwene reading it to Leandrin reading it. I like that transition. I thought that was pretty cool.
I don't really like that the first time you see Matt, he's like crying. Like,
yeah, well,
I understand that we're supposed to get the emotion down, right? But it's like, this is, I don't know. I feel like it would take more than this to make Matt cry.
He misses his friends. He's
I
lonely.
He's been locked up alone in a small cell for half a year.
I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
And like also
not show Matt, book Matt.
Also,
we're not talking about book Matt.
Matt wouldn't cry.
But yeah, I don't think Book Matt cries. Maybe once or twice. But like, I also think like you need to show that so you can show that he's not actually as defeated as he looks, and like how much of all of their interactions are one of them trying to trick the other one into thinking something that isn't true, right? Because when he's alone, what's he doing? He's escaping, right? He's not broken.
Yeah.
Sorry, Brendan. I felt like you were going to say something.
He's putting.
I almost everything that happens with Matt during this season until the last episode is mediocre to bad.
Mm.
And everything that happens in the last episode is so good it makes up for it, but it is a long walk.
It is, and I think it's. I don't think it's his performance. I think it's
no,
it's not. It's not.
I think it's the writing for him. I mean, I'm sure that the performance probably could have been a little bit better, but yeah, I think the writing probably didn't help much at all. He didn't really get much to work with. So
no.
He didn't get much. He doesn't get much to do. Let's just be.
Right.
Let's call a spade. Like he is, and the Matt in season 1, the 6 episodes that he in is one of the better written characters and has a lot. It doesn't have a lot of plot, but has a lot to play with. And this guy just they don't have much for him to do. Like sometimes he's just in episodes so that you remember that he's a character on the show.
Right. It's really, and you brought up how he's in 6 of the 8 episodes of the previous season. It's really a unique, as far as I know, unique storytelling problem that you have to reintroduce this guy with a new actor, explain away his absence, so again, it's a long walk to getting Matt something good to do, and it was an uphill climb.
It's like they're from episode 6 of season 1 to episode 8 of season 2. That's how long it took for them to get him back to where he was originally supposed to be in the story.
I mean, that's like if you convert that into books,
so it's like
3 books. It's like 3 books to get.
Yeah, but I mean, and to Brendan's point, and I agree, and I'm sure when we get to our rewatch of episode 8, I'll be hyperbolic about it again. But it is a really, really strong payoff, and it's not just like the it's not just the payoff. His entire presence in that episode is terrific. Like
right.
So we'll get
all his
there.
lines are good.
Yeah, I was about to say,
all of a sudden,
let's we don't want to give away too much.
So just tease, little
tease.
All right.
And then they'll have to listen when we get up to it. Hopefully we remember. Are you guys ready to score this one?
Yeah, sure.
Ready.
I am ready to give this score. Brendan, are you ready to receive a score?
Yes.
I'm going to give this 3 stars. It had some good scenes I really liked, some scenes I really didn't like. But like you said, Brendan, it was they did a fairly good job of catching you up on what was happening.
Okay.
I have to stick with 0.5s, right?
You can,
I
yeah.
can't-
You can. Oh, we did 2.
I thought
we
you
did
were
2
saying,
5s.
I thought you were giving it.
I think we did a quarter. I think
I can do a
get
quarter?
quarters.
Yes.
You get quarters. Yeah.
We
All right,
can
I'm
do
gonna
quarters.
I'm going to do 3.25.
Okay.
Okay. I was trying to one up me.
So I'm gonna
$1.
I think when we did this the first time, I re-rated the episode I don't know, as if I was watching it again for the first time, and I want to kind of re-rate it for okay, I'm rewatching the episode. What do I think about it as a rewatch? In which case, I'm gonna give it a 3.5. I was very surprised about how rewatchable it was. Normally I don't I get bored or impatient very easily from rewatching a television show that I've already seen. And I was like, no, this moves and it keeps my interest. So I'm gonna give it 3.5.
I did get that feeling you said you didn't get, Tom, to be honest with you, when I was watching it. I kind of wanted to move a little bit through the episode quicker. But then actually, at the beginning, I felt that way. And then I kind of got back into it, and I didn't feel so much that way the second half of the episode. There were some scenes that I was like, oh, I don't want to watch this scene. But go ahead, Jen.
I went already.
Oh, I'm sorry. 3.25. Brendan, you're up, right?
Yeah, I'm going to give it a 4. I think I said this when we watched it the first time. To this point, this is the best episode of the show.
Oh wow. Do you have our previous scores just for this episode?
Yeah, of course.
Of course he does.
It's probably exactly the same.
Amateur?
No, they all went down.
Yeah. I think
wow.
I think it was higher the first time.
Okay.
Yeah. Jen 3.75, Tom 4, me 4.5, and Joe 4.
Wow. I went down a whole point.
Yeah.
But I think that speaks
the excitement from watching it for the first time gets us, I think.
Yeah.
Also, I think
for it.
Brendan's right in the fact that this was just so much better than almost everything from season 1 that we're like, wow. And now we've seen.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
It's not better. It's not better than everything from season 1. It is miles and miles better than the last 2 episodes of season 1. One of which is, the last 3 episodes of season 1. One of which is one of the worst goddamn hours of television I've ever watched. It is miles better than anything that closed out season 1.
Oh, man, now we have to do. I feel like we should have rewatched season 1 as well. Now,
we don't have time for that.
But I think knowing where the show goes in season 2, like, we have other expectations of it.
There's definitely episodes I'm very excited to rewatch. When we planned on doing this, we planned this a few weeks ago that we're going to start doing our rewatch. And there were certain episodes I was like, I wasn't excited to rewatch. And there were definitely episodes I'm excited to rewatch. So, I don't think the next episode is one of those, but we'll find out. I'll find out. Brendan, thank you for joining us.
Thanks, guys.
Brendan, before you go though, give us a shout out. Give a shout out to anything you're working on, your books.
I don't want to talk about it, man.
Okay.
It's been.
I'll put the link to Brendan's.
When there's something to talk about, I'll talk about it.
Well, no, people though don't know, like might not know that you have books that they can buy and read.
Well, I have a bunch of books people can buy and read. Go ahead and put the link in the show notes.
All right. Thanks for joining us.
He's a master salesman, folks.
Yes. I'm not mentally prepared to talk about that stuff right now.
I put you on the spot. Have a good night, Brendan.
Right. Don't worry. Thanks, guys.
Good night.
Good see you.
Talk to you later. Bye. Damn it! Every time I have to leave twice. It's 2 buttons. So annoying. Bye.
And we're back. The rest of this show is full spoilers, so if you have not read the books, yeah, Jen's like the rest. What are you talking about? I think we'll push the news to next week. I just have a couple of notes here, spoiler wise. We already talked about the girl in Teleran Riyadh, which I thought was really strange. Tomas's flaming sword. Do you think that's do you think that Rand is going to use a flaming sword, or this was just kind of like, hey, here's a flaming sword for you book readers? We're not going to do that with Rand because it's going to just be really weird if Rand always has a flaming sword for a while.
Sure. Yeah, I think the he's not going to learn how to use the sword at all until next season. So,
this
really
coming up.
Yeah, this season coming up. Like, I think that's where he's really going to start to use a sword, whereas he's like pulling out a flaming sword all the time in the early books.
Yeah. So. Amerlin stole foreshadowing, which I think we talked about. I still like it.
I put in that Egwene does her best like Terrence Howard Iron Man gif. Like her next time, baby.
So something I noted here that I don't remember from last time is the scene when when Egwene reads the notes, right? She's the one who reminds Nynaeve that it's Beltane, which I thought was kind of a bit of a role reversal from the books, because like right in the books, Nynaeve is kind of still hanging on to the Two Rivers, and whereas Egwene like quickly lets go and cuts ties with it. I felt that it was kind of like a switch off in the show because Egwene's the one who remembers it's Beltane.
Yeah. Nynaeve's very distracted.
That's true.
Frustrated with not being able to channel.
Yeah, that's true. I guess it shows her distraction more than anything.
Yeah, I had I'm trying to think what else. When when the Perrin and the Shanarans come upon the dead people, Masema is the one who says a prayer. And I think that's a nice foreshadowing that he is secretly very religious, right? Or whatever religious.
I think also, and that's great. I think part of it too is that, right? None of the, I guess
spiritual. Yes, it's not.
Yeah, I was thinking like they don't want to pay another extra to give, if they don't want to give another extra line because then they have to pay them more. So like, let's
there's like 4 or 5 nameless Shinarans riding in the back of the pack.
Yeah,
that we never see or hear from again after.
So it makes sense that Masema is the one who said
the fight.
Yeah, but I think that's a conscious choice that he's the person who I think like they that's an immediate reaction cut is him saying that, and I think that's a conscious choice.
Definitely laying the groundwork for sure.
Also, like they passed through the 2 rivers.
Yeah, you mentioned Watch Hill, right? And I'm like,
right.
Did they go through the 2? Is Watch Hill in the 2 rivers still, or is like?
I think it will be, and like that is the line that they're traveling. You could like draw a line through the 2 rivers to get to where they are. So maybe that's how Perrin has been riding them. Like he's not that far away, really. He's just over the mountains of mist.
Yeah, it's good question there. Definitely potential there. I don't think I have anything else new. Just some notes that I had, but these are things I think we already talked about. Varen's cool, but she's not really the Varen from the books.
Yeah.
No. They referenced Taim. In this episode. I think every single person that Alana talks to in the Aes Sedai conference is a Black Aja member. Right, it's
talks to
everyone. It's like Alana surrounded by the Black.
And Joelle.
Yeah,
I wonder why they put her in there for like that one line though.
Well, she's at the end too. She goes to Kyria, and I think we're going to get her in the next season.
No, I know, but
I think they wanted to have at least one other Aes Sedai that you've seen before,
right?
Be Black Aja like in the next season. So they were like, let's at least put one person. If all the other people are going to be new actors on the show, let's at least get one familiar face.
I wonder if they're going to do that, like they don't know each other as Black in the beginning.
Oh, they explain that whole thing, right?
I don't know, or they'll just be like, no, everyone knows.
Does that come up in this season with Leandrin?
This season?
Yeah, like with Lanfear, does she say something, or is there?
I feel like we'll find out again, but I think so. I think it's somehow addressed, but
we'll find out.
I don't. Yeah, I think it's just like, oh, okay, hey, we're all on the same evil team, you know?
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. I think we'll push. Like I said, we'll push the news to next week. I think it's a good time to end it here. Like I said, I will definitely put a link to Brendan's stories. I'm going to call them stories. Like I'm an old lady who watches television.
My stories.
I want to remind everyone to follow us on social media. You could follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Go join us in Discord to continue the conversation there. We also post the episodes on our YouTube page, so be sure to go and like and subscribe. Rate and review us wherever you listen to podcasts, and check out our merchandise and Patreon pages to support us that way. Links to all the aforementioned information are included in the show notes of this episode. Although I think the only aforementioned information is Brendan's. So check that out. Go check that out for sure. Any last words, Tom and Jen?
Tom, you were just on the Dusty Wheel last night, right?
I was.
Yeah.
Go back and watch that.
Well, there you go. If you really want to, if you really want to find out what this latest news was that we're going to wait a week to cover, we talked about it last night on the Dusty Wheel. So
there you go.
Oh, that's right. If you can't wait for us, or just watch John's video.
That's very true.
Thanks everyone for listening, and you'll hear us next time.